Hey, no guys, Mox versus Gennady Jacobs. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with my segment, Boxing Ego or Ego Rumor Mill. Now, just so I get out the particulars, just like the title suggests, this is a rumor. But if you followed my channel for any length of time, I'm not just out here putting out foolishness, just anything I hear. Now, there was a bird in my ear said that Gennady Jacobs versus Gennady Golovkin, challenging middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin, has reached an agreement and is done for 2017. So it's a trusted source. I believe it. March 18th, Saturday, in New York City, Madison Square Garden, will be on HBO pay-per-view. Al Heyman fighter, Gennady Jacobs, and middleweight champion K2 Promotions, Gennady Golovkin. So I want to talk about this particular fight. And again, I'm confident in my source. This has been negotiations that have stretched. Initially, one of the dates looked at was December 10th. That didn't work. After Canelo got injured, they looked at December 10th. Couldn't make the deal by then. They had the purse bid looming, things like that. I'm glad they finally got to the nitty gritty and were able to work it out. And some of you guys in the comment section, it has to suck to constantly be wrong. A lot of people said, oh, Gennady Jacobs, he'll never take this fight. He doesn't want to. He has to pay for funeral arrangements and all kinds of crazy stuff in the comment section. And he was going to price himself out. But when it's all said and done, and again, I'll make an updated video whether I'm right or wrong with this rumor. I don't think I am wrong, but hypothetically, if I am, I'll make a follow-up video. But a lot of people are saying he was going to price himself out and the fight wasn't going to happen as a result of Gennady Jacobs. I told people, even though like it doesn't feel good as a boxing fan to have to wait, but patience is a virtue, and these deals have to work themselves out, and they're usually better without the public intervening. You know what I mean? Some of the easiest fights to make are the ones where there's not too many hands in the cookie jars, really the promoters. So as far as all the people saying Gennady Jacobs was going to price himself out, that turned out to be false and foolish, because at the end of the day, it sounds like if they were able to arrive at a deal now, he's getting what he wants. And I told you guys, the simple mathematics is this: whether you think he was overpaid or not, Gennady Jacobs got a pretty penny to face Peter Quillin. And might I add, he was the underdog. He got like 1.5 million or whatever to fight Quillin. So obviously he's not trying to take a 25% split, even though that is the rules with the WBA, in which he has the regular version of the belt. Golovkin has the super version of the belt. I mean, he's trying to get the most bang for his buck, and that's standard business. Like, I understand if he was saying $50 million or I don't get a fight, you know what I mean? That's just, no network is going to provide that much for that particular fight. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to happen. But if you're trying to get more than your highest purse, which is pretty reasonable, like, you gotta, I mean, just really, if you know anything about numbers, and a lot of people aren't going to understand this because you never touched $1 million. You never touched $500,000, $250,000. So everything is going to sound like a lot. You know what I mean? You'll be like, oh, I would have took 1.1. But these fighters are putting their lives on the line, and they're risking, you know what I mean, their livelihood, their health, everything for this sport. And it's not as impressive if you've already touched a mill before, right? So that's a quick math lesson. You got a lot for Quillin, whether you like it or not. So to fight a guy who's perceived as more of a threat, because you got to keep it real, Quillin is a threat. He can crack. That's my dude, Kid Chocolate. Shout out to him. Talked to him in Vegas last time I was out there. But what the threat level of Golovkin, that he's perceived, he has more belts than Quillin. He's perceived as harder to beat in terms of technique and finesse and skill and his style and stuff like that. So, like, realistically speaking, why would Gennady Jacobs accept less than what he got for another threat in Peter Quillin, but not the same level? I mean, Golovkin, he's being pumped as the boogeyman. So why don't you pay boogeyman prices? You know what I'm saying? It's like saying Tom Cruise is the biggest actor in Hollywood, but he's not getting the biggest actor in Hollywood paycheck. It doesn't work like that. When Tom Cruise was the man and putting out all the blockbusters, or Will Smith, Hollywood was paying them top dollar, and they were getting paid more than any other actor. Now, like The Rock, he's in a ton of blockbuster movies. He's probably getting the highest, and that's kind of how it works. Pay like you weigh, and that's what it is. But as far as the fight, it's a good fight. I'll probably do a 7 reasons first look on the fight. I'm just glad we're getting it, and I kind of want to fast forward through Christmas. No disrespect, but there's a lot of good fights that I'm looking forward to in 2017, especially right around that March, April. You got Anthony Joshua, Klitschko. You got Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. You got Danny Jacobs taking on champion Triple G in a consolidation / unification. I don't know if you guys call it a unification since they both have a version of the same belt, but it's a good fight. Golovkin, this will be, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest and best name on his resume. Kell Brook, very skilled, but he was a smaller person. He was a welterweight. I don't care how many steaks and loaded mashed potatoes or whatever he did to bulk up, he was the naturally smaller person. And I can tell you that just by looking at his back versus Golovkin's back, right? Look at their off-season weight. Like, Kell Brook got pretty big, especially for a welterweight, but it's different. And Danny Jacobs he's a legit, seen him. He was in Vegas too, actually, for Kovalev Ward. He's a legit 6.5 feet, 6'1", something like that. He's a big puncher. So all that stuff where fans saying, oh, Golovkin let Willie Monroe hit him and take free shots to entertain the crowd, don't do that with Jacobs. And I mean, Golovkin's smart enough to know that, because when he was in there with another big puncher who was shorter than him, and David Lemieux, he worked behind a very stiff and surgical jab. So I think Golovkin will take the fight serious like he normally does, and that free swing and stuff is going to be out the window. But hometown crowd advantage. Golovkin's a big star out on the East Coast too, but Danny Jacobs is from there, so it should be a mixed crowd, a good crowd, good energy. Both guys power punchers, 85% or better knockout ratios probably between both of them. It's a good fight. Golovkin, this is his golden opportunity, because if he goes out there and knocks out a guy who's only been knocked out once and has had a good run since then, beat cancer since then the Canelo fight is huge this year. You know what I'm saying? This will certify Golovkin as, like, yeah, he's a real life threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, people know he's a threat, clearly, but what I'm saying is it'll be the best cap in his hat. It'll be the best name in his hat, to me, at least. I still think this, and I'm firm in this. You guys can say all that radical shit in the comment section, but I think in terms of sole wins, I think Danny Jacobs has a better sole win in Peter Quillen knocking him out in one round in the fashion in which he did that. That's better than any win on Golovkin's resume, to me. Gregor's Proska, you know what I mean? Daniel Gill, David Lemieux, who had been stopped before and then lost his very next fight to Hoshim Alcine, who the Charlo brother later knocked out. Matthew Macklin later knocked out in one round. David Lemieux couldn't get it done and beat him. You know what I'm saying? So Marco Antonio Rubio, who had already been knocked out, lost to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. You know what I mean? So to me, Jacobs has a better sole win in the Quillen fight than any Jacobs or Triple G win. So to me, if Triple G conquers Danny Jacobs, and it looks like he just adds to his knockout streak, then he snatched that body, and he kind of, like Highlander, he inherited his power. So he'll get a lot of credit for that. So, and it'll, like I said, make the Canelo fight huge. Let me know what you guys think. Danny Jacobs, Triple G, March 18th, HBO pay-per-view, New York City. I might try to go to this. This is a barn burner. Someone's getting knocked out for sure. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.